If I should think about what is the most important error you can make when you invest, I think it is that you have not defined what you will do with a pot of money. So it doesn't have to be your entire pot of money. For a given pot of money, you have to define what kind of investor you are. You can be a value investor. That means that you look at whether something you invest in appear to be cheap. You buy, you have no idea when it will get more reasonably priced or even overpriced. You just think it's cheap, and your fundamental assumption is that when things are going bad, that they will correct themselves. And that's the basic assumption of an investor like Warren Buffett, for instance. That's what he assumes. He assumes when there's a crisis, it will disappear. And it's quite right, because for 500 years we've had this Western civilization. We have had so many crises, and we get out of them every time. And so another strategy you can have is an asset allocator. I think that is the simplest and wisest strategy for the large majority of investors. And that is, you say, I'll put, say, 65% of my assets into equities. I'll put 25% into real assets, like companies that are exposed to real estate or commodity funds or a combination of that, and the rest into perhaps bonds. And you always try to keep that allocation. So if the equities go down in price, there will be too little in that bucket, so you put more into that bucket. That's a very good strategy, because you will not get carried away and make stupid ideas during recessions. So I would recommend that to the most normal investors who don't have the time and expertise to really trade the markets. But some of the smartest investors in the world do essentially that with most of the money. So the big university endowments like Yale and Harvard and so on, that's what they do. And they make good money, and they do it year after year. A third strategy is momentum trader. Sometimes I'm that. So I look at charts, I trade in and out, forth and back, try to milk the markets for everything they can give me. And sometimes I'm successful at that. But if you are that, you need to work with stops. You need to be very trained at it, and you need to have your mind completely on it, because if you don't, you will lose money. And most people actually lose money, but some people can systematically over time make money on that. The last form of investor you can be is the activist investor, who invests in, for instance, a company in order to change that company. Private equity companies, they do that, so you can hire somebody to do it for you, or you can do it yourself. But that is typically for the bigger investors, and it's for very long-term investors. So that, to me, just to repeat, the big mistake you do is you have some money, you invest it based on one strategy, say value, then you get scared because of news, and then in the middle of a panic, you change to be a momentum investor, and you sell, and normally you would make great mistakes in doing that. So again, define what you are with a part of your money or all your money, and stay with that. If you would like more ideas about how to become a better investor, I suggest you buy my book, The Psychology of Finance.